Welcome to this edition of the Million Dollar Mastermind podcast. This is where we pick the brains of high achievers from all walks of life and get their hard-earned, real-world insights on winning. I'm your host, Larry Weidel.
I don't know what the culture is in India, but did you have problems growing up trying to make your way in the world? And did you find the world confusing or tough or perplexing or getting along with, did you have a sports, or you have things where you could throw your energy into and establish yourself, or was it just schoolwork or what?
No, not at all. So I am a competitive Bollywood dancer. So I think dance was like the one big thing where all of my energy was channeled, and it was what I did after school, and it was like my passion, and it was something I love to do. But while in school, I was definitely more belligerent. I think I never understood why people studied so much to come first in class, because I never saw what would happen once you came first. So I
Right.
was someone who was like top 10, 15. I just did not understand why I should study more to come first, because that person who got first didn't get anything else that I didn't get at 10th,
Yeah. And that's funny because I grew up a competitive Bollywood dancer myself.
Oh my God. Right, Larry.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit more?
I didn't sell that very well, did I? Okay. You didn't believe that for a microsecond. Okay. All right. Now, when you decided to go to school, after, college and university, what were you looking for?
Right. So as an Asian kid, I was told I have to go to college. And when I went to college, I just thought I was going to college, period. And it is wild to me that at that point, I had no articulation of what exactly I needed from college. Because now in life, I reflect a lot. But back then, it just felt like one of those paths I had to go through. And actually, my mom is a housewife coming from a small town in India. Successful women were mostly housewives. I didn't even know I could do anything else but be a housewife. So I was going to college in Columbia, New York. And I just thought, awesome, I'm going to college and I'll probably just go back to India and be a housewife.
Yeah, but you didn't.
Yes.
And so talk about how, what you did before Shark Tank, where you got your experience and your knowledge
Sure.
and your education.
So I went to Columbia University in New York. I studied computer science, artificial intelligence, and this was from 2009 to 2013. The moment I started studying, the moment I hit New York, I just got exposed to a whole new environment. And that was the first time I realized, oh my gosh, people can do anything. There are so many things out there that I can do. And through my college, I realized, oh, my friends are applying for internships. Let me do the same. I realized trading is really exciting. So I then found my way into finance on a trading floor because I thought it was loud, brash, really fun. And I wanted to do it.
Yeah. And do you have a knack for that?
Yeah. So I think in trading, what I realized, a lot of my personality, it just complemented it. Like I found a niche that just fit. Like they were appreciative of people that were aggressive or loud or like actually very data oriented or quick with numbers. And I found myself at home. And so I got a job in New York. I realized it was like the best thing, super exciting. As someone starting out in finance, imagine like you don't even know what these numbers mean. Like for me, I was running risk for 500 million. What does that mean to like a 22-year-old? I don't know. It was really fun. And I think one day I could be up a million or down a million. And I think I could have a thesis and I could say, I believe this will work because of this reason. And because of that, let me buy or sell something in my portfolio. And that was very liberating because I loved having conviction. And I think it was like the first job that allowed you to do that on some massive scale. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's go back to Columbia. It's, a tough school. and lots of personalities, lots of socially maladjusted professors, and a lot of professors just working out their time with tenure until they can retire and not excited about teaching. And that's true of every college. And so when you go, you run into with this enthusiasm and this naive attitude about life is exciting and everything. What was the worst things that happened to you while at Columbia?
so I think number one, which is very, I should have almost foreseen this, was like things got really hard really quickly. Like I used to think of myself as an intelligent person, and then sophomore year happened and I just realized I was an idiot. Like
Yeah.
there was no, like the coursework of computer science and artificial intelligence, like it just stopped making sense. And I think I remember getting to senior year thinking, can I fail a course and then still graduate? Because this is getting pretty damn hard. So I
Yeah.
think that was like an eye opener that not everything is easy. Like you really have to work for it. And I sort of did, sort of didn't in some of the courses, but it got really tough. Like it was hard.
Yeah. And so talk about that.
So for example, like in my senior year, there was this like course on natural language processing and artificial intelligence. And back then it wasn't as sexy. So back then, imagine like my professor had this whole course and then they told us 50% of your grade is your this programming assignment. And in that assignment, you had to like at some point while coding, the program had to learn itself and like solve this chess and win at it. And honestly, I got to like 50% of it. And I was like, I think that's all I can do. I don't understand how the program will learn by itself. And I think I kind of sat there thinking, maybe I'll just get 50%. And I did. And I passed that class. But I still do not know what was taught in that course till date because it was tough. It was really tough.
Yeah. And so what, socially, was it a tough adjustment, the New York lifestyle and, things that were expected?
I wouldn't say tough, but I will say the social norms were completely different. And although originally I was completely unaware, I think I spent a lot of my college in a bubble. Like I just did things that I wanted to, but then I think when it came to, let's say, socially, I don't know actually, Larry. I'm saying that and I'm like, no, I don't know. I think it was okay. I just thought everything was exciting. I had my peers, and I think I do know when I graduated, I found myself surrounded by a lot more brown people. And I just thought, wow, where did my diversity go? And I think somehow, maybe because I did a lot of Bollywood dancing and a lot of Asian Bollywood dancing, my circle just became a lot more people that looked like me. But I think overall, I don't remember having any social anxiety or social, yeah.
So you went into the trading.
Yeah.
And you were there for what? 6 years, something like that?
So I got a job. I then got deported to London.
Deported
And
or transferred?
exactly. I would have been deported. As an immigrant, visa is always an issue. So they
Yeah.
gave me the option to move to London. I said yes. And I did that career for around 6.5 years.
Yeah. Now, why are you not doing it still? Why was that not good enough for you? Because people spend their entire life doing trading.
Yep, good question. When I joined it, I loved it. And for me, at that point, success meant earning money, directly proportional. And I thought, amazing, I'm going to earn a lot of it. And after 4 years, when things started to look really good and my paycheck got pretty big, I started to realize there was something very unidimensional. Like I went into work every day and the whole purpose was to make money. And there was nothing else that I was achieving in and around that equation. And I think at that point, I started to question. I actually watched this show on Netflix called The Queen of Catway, where this Black African kids, they play chess and they have ambition to like take over the world. And I started crying and I remember thinking, oh my God, I have no ambition anymore. And I think I just wanted to do something that had bigger purpose I wanted to build something that had more lasting meaning than just make money every single day because that's what my job asked me to do.
Well, I guess that ruled out you starting your own hedge fund.
That would be very hypocritical, wouldn't it?
I don't know. I won't say that. But now, how long did it take you to go from that point to where you had this idea about the chefs? I mean, have you been, do you have dinner party? Have you grown up having dinner parties and working with private chefs and things like that? How many ideas did you go through?
So I used to have a notepad of like 100 plus ideas where anytime I'll see a problem around me, I'll think, that could be a good idea.
Talk about that. How did you start doing that? And when did you start doing that?
I started doing that sort of like 4 years into trading. I thought, okay, if I want to make if I want to really build a company, I need to have an idea. And ideas are not going to grow out of anywhere. So instead of just committing all the way, let me just go through life every single day and look and observe. And if I feel something's broken, it's going to go into this like notepad of ideas. And by the way, there were a lot of terrible ideas that went in there. For example, once I was stood at this airport and it had like the most terrible layout where the baggage claim was completely different to where I entered. And I wrote in my notepad of ideas. I said, airports should be made more efficient so people can get through checkout faster.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible idea. Like in my mind, but I still wrote it because I was trying to build the muscle of observing when things were wrong or could be made better.
Yeah. Now, who did you come up with that idea to start making that list, or did you see it on Netflix?
I mean, everything is a borrowed idea. And to be honest, right now it feels like it was my own idea, but who knows? Maybe I stole it from somewhere.
We're going to give you credit for that.
Okay, great.
But how long did it take you to get up to where you had 100 ideas? How long did it take you to where the chef idea, did that immediately identify, we've got a winner here?
No, not at all. So I have this sort of list of ideas. I probably kind of chilled on this list for like 6 months, a year. I did it passively on the side.
Did you show it to other people?
No, I was so embarrassed. I just thought, like, I don't know, it's like so embarrassing that I'm coming up with these stupid little ideas. Of course not. No one ever saw it.
Wow. And so how did it work? How did you turn it into where the private chef came out the top?
So at some point, I went through this exercise of, okay, let me look through these ideas and start ranking them on some sort of scale. Like effort it will take, how good they could be, how big they could be. Is it actually a pain point or is this made up? How easy would it be to test? And
now you thought of this? You thought of this ranking system? This had
definitely.
Now this is a little too sophisticated. You had to steal this idea from somebody.
I did steal it from somewhere. So I actually went through it was like some accelerator for like how you can create a startup, and they came up with like a very basic ranking system. And I was
there you go.
Well, that's better than nothing. And I stole it. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And in that ranking system, the idea of chefs came to the top. And the reason was out of all these other ideas where the market scope, etc., wasn't great, this was a personal problem because I did grow up in India with chefs and cooks. It's very normal when you grow up in an Asian country, you have home cooked food. But then when you go to developing countries, suddenly it's just restaurants or takeaway, or you have to cook yourself. And I knew firsthand that hospitality sector is actually one of the lowest paid professions in UK. So it just kind of didn't make sense that I can't have home cooked food because all these people think everyone's Gordon Ramsay and a private chef just costs like so much money. But I knew for a fact that wasn't true. So A, there was a gap, but B, I knew firsthand that stuff like this works. And people have people over. It's amazing to just have home cooked food. So I think I had this like special, unique insight, and it won on a bunch of other matrix points. So it was like top of my list.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. He bought he built this huge, monstrous house in Florida. And then he thought, okay, now I'll take the next, I had a great kitchen. I'll take the next step. I'll get my own private chef. And then after he gained 30 pounds the first month, he had to fire the chef.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So it's better to bring in the chef periodically rather than have your own permanent private chef, I would imagine.
I should hire you as our salesperson. Love it. That's a great angle to it.
Thank you for listening to part 2 of this episode of the Million Dollar Mastermind podcast. Timing is everything. You may feel that now is a time to get moving forward so you can do something even greater with your life. Now, if that sounds like you, I've got a free training video to show you how that transformation can take place. Getting introduced to how the cycle of success works has been a major transforming event for so many current $1 million earners. And that's exactly what this video is all about. And yes, it's completely free. Join us at the video at WeidelOnWinning.com. And thanks for being part of our community.